All right, welcome to this screencast. In this screencast, I'm going to talk about some helpful research techniques that you can use on Google. So I'm actually just starting right here on Google Chrome. And one of the key things on Google Chrome is that you can just type directly into the URL bar here and any search term that you need. And we're going to start off with a simple one here. And I'm going to start off with the topic of global warming. I'm going to point out a couple things with regard to what comes up when you just search for global warming. First thing here is I want to point out the ads. And you can tell the difference between an ad and a regular site by obviously just looking at this little yellow ad button there. So that's going to be an ad. And those are typically when we are researching not the things that we want to click on. As we go down, you're often going to find that Wikipedia is one of the top search hits. And then as we go down here, I'm going to call your attention to a few other things. I want you to look at the web extension here. And so on this one, it's wikipedia.org. As we go down, we've got .org, we've got some image examples. Here's a nationalgeographic.com. There's another .org, there's another .com. And as we slowly get down the line, we don't even see anything else besides a .com on this list. Now, one of the other things I want to point out is when I just type in global warming, I get all these different results. And I've just typed in global warming as a simple search term. What a lot of people want to do sometimes is type in a full question, and I don't really like the question so much. Now, you're going to get a nice simple answer on certain things here, but you're not always going to get the best things. And here I want to point out another thing that we get is there's a .gov site, and then we're going to come back to that. All in all, I can find some helpful information here, but it's not going to be probably the most zeroed in or best information for a kid-friendly site that you want to use. So always pay attention when searching after you have typed in your search. I like to avoid questions. Now, Google will be able to answer certain questions, but a lot of times when you type in a question, you're just going to get answer sites like answers.com or Yahoo Answers, and we want to avoid those. So for instance, if I say, what is the range of human hearing? I'm going to get a whole bunch of answer sites here. Okay, so it says 20 to 20K hertz. Hey, I've got some things here. Actually, this is pretty good. It didn't give me a lot of answer sites. Actually, that's very good here. So that's a positive there. What I really want is just to type in the keywords. So I could just type in range of human hearing. I'm going to get the same thing here. All right. A few more zeroed in things. But let's go back to global warming. So I don't want to type in what is global warming. I want to type in global warming. But remember, when I type that in, I got ads, I got news, I got all sorts of things, I got Wikipedia. These are all things that aren't necessarily going to be kid-friendly or really helpful to me. I may even get some inaccurate information. And a lot of times people think just because a site is a .org that it's a really relevant site. Just because a site has .org does not mean that it is a relevant site, because anyone can purchase a .org domain. So we want to zero this down, and we want to find sites that are going to be kid-friendly, and we want them to be as effective as possible and really reliable information. So I'm going to zero down into sites that are only government sites or EDU sites. So if I type in this, all I have to do is type in site : no spaces, and then just .gov. Now look at my results that pop up. Aside from the ad that still pops up, all the rest of the sites are going to be .gov. Everything is going to be .gov. All right. So this gives me a lot more helpful sites. It's going to be a lot more relevant. I could also do the same EDU. EDU sites are also going to be very helpful. So here I can see, again, skipping the ad because that's not what I'm looking for. There's .edu, .edu, .edu. These are all .edu sites. But let's go back. I want to get a government site, and I want something that's a little more kid-friendly. So sometimes, in addition to adding site.gov or site.edu, another thing that you can add on your search term is just the word kids. And now I'm going to get some more kid-friendly sites. And look what I get right here, a student's guide to global climate change. Okay, so I'm going to click on this. And this is a site that I actually use in my classes to teach about this. If I go to Learn the Basics, it's going to have a very simple kid-friendly explanation. Now let's contrast that with the one that we see on Wikipedia here. The one that we see on Wikipedia is a very long, very extensive article, a lot of things going on in it, and a lot of it's not going to be at a very kid-friendly level. So This one is going to be at a much more kid-friendly level, and this is the site that I would want you to use because it would be simple information for us to complete. So that will be 2 examples. Now I'm going to move on here. So we've talked about avoiding questions sometimes. We want to just use keywords. We looked at ads versus legit sites, and we used the site operator. So the site:/edu or site:/gov can be extremely helpful. So if I go back here to the search, one of the things I can do here is I can actually change this from site:/gov to site:/nytimes.com. And this is going to give me things about global warming, kids, and I can even take the kids out on this one now. And it's going to things that only have global warming and that are only on the New York Times website. So you can use the site operator to really help you zero in on a lot of different things here. So if you want a specific article from a specific site. So that's where the site operator can be very handy. Now, the other thing I want to point out is the top hit and the descriptions. So just because something is the top hit, a lot of times people click on the very top thing. So in this case, we get a Bernie Sanders, who's just a candidate for president. He's got an ad here, and that his ad has made it to the top of people who search for global warming. That's just an ad. That's not anything that we want with regard to information that we're going to use for our research. We may, however, want something here. So I can look first at the titles. Always read the titles in blue, and then read the descriptions too. So here I can look at the descriptions and really find exactly what I'm looking for. So in this case, maybe I was looking for a site about heat records. So here I can say, oh, here's the site I'm looking for. This is in 2014, breaks heat records. So I'm sure that this has some information that I could use in my research. So again, always look at the titles, read the descriptions, look at the site extensions. Again, if you want to narrow down the site extensions, you can put site:/gov or site:/edu or a specific site, and you're going to get just those types of sites. So that's a very, very handy feature. There are some other things that you can do too. So let's say, for instance, that we want to add we want to get really current articles on global warming. We want to get current articles from the New York Times. So I say nytimes.com. I search for that, but I also want to get articles that are very relevant. So I can click on this more feature, click on the search tools feature here, and I want to change this to the past week. Now it's going to show me only articles that have appeared in the last week in the New York Times about global warming. And so as you can see, there's several articles that have appeared in the last several days about global warming in the New York Times. So using these the search tools, you can really do a lot of things, and that can be very handy because a lot of times you don't want an article that is an old article because perhaps there's new information or more data or anything. So you always want to get the most recent. So a lot of times you can use this right here. Again, I got to that. I'm going to clear all this now. And so you can see that my results change. But when I just go to search tools, I change it from any time to a specific time. And you can even put in a custom range here. And this is interesting too. If you want to search way back in time, you could say, like, well, what if we looked at like August 15th in 1980 to August 15th, 1990. Okay, let's see what we get there. All right, so there we've got some articles back from the 80s, but if we look at these are a lot of these are even older. There's one from 1981, study finds warming trend that could raise. So we've got, you can even search articles way back in different times. So that's a really handy feature if you want to find very specific information about a topic. One other thing that you can do, I'm going to clear this again here, is let's say that we want a specific file. So one of the things we can look at is if we want a specific file type, we can do global warming. I can type in the word file type, I can put colon, and I can put PDF. And now it's going to show me only PDFs about global warming, and this can be very handy. And so this time you can see I've got a lot of .orgs. Well, maybe I want to read a study by like a college professor. So I can add to this. I want a file type that's a PDF, and I want a site colon that's only from EDU things. So now we've got things from Yale, lots of things from Yale, Holyoke University, Stanford University, Princeton University. So we've got a lot of hits with PDFs on information. So these are all good things that you can use for research. So let's go back now and let's go to global warming. Let's get back to global warming kids. And I want site:gov. Okay. So that gives me the student's guide. And I'm actually going to go to learn the basics here. This one's a little bit different. Same thing, but we're going to go to learn the basics. And let's learn more about the climate. Okay. So I want to find the word greenhouse gases, because I know I've heard things about greenhouse gases, and that's what I'm really interested in my research. So this is another handy tool. Okay. This might look, when you first arrive at it, hey, there's a lot to read on here, but I'm really looking for something specific. Well, one of the things that you can do is you can press Command F on a Mac or Control F on a PC and type in greenhouse. Okay, so right now this tells me that there's nothing about greenhouse gases on this particular page. Okay, well, maybe I want to find something about, let's say instead of greenhouse gas, maybe I want fossil fuels. So there's nothing about fossil fuels on this page either. Okay, so what is something? So maybe this page right now doesn't have anything about greenhouse gases on the site. So maybe I want to find out more. So let's go back here and let's say global warming kids site, and then actually let's go forward. So this particular site was EPA Climate Kids Basics. All right, I'm going to take this link right here. And now I'm actually check that. I'm going to go back here. Okay, and I'll bet that I can find, so I'm going to click this page here. I'm going to copy this, and I'm actually going to skip over that right now. But what we can do, sorry, apologies for that one there. We're going to go here, and we can just say greenhouse gases site:gov. And now I'll bet we can probably, oh, I forgot to throw in the kids. And get really specific. I'm like, hey, there we go, the greenhouse effect. So this goes back to the same site that we were at before. And now I can find the greenhouse. So one of the things that you can do, you can search within a site. And so I found before the greenhouse gases wasn't on that particular site. So I went back and I just refined my search. So you don't have to just do one search and then use that as your only search. You can often add and subtract things from your search. And I'll show you another example of how this works. So a few years ago, I had a student who wanted to do an experiment on chia pet experiment. Okay? And when you first do this, you get here and you're like, okay, chromatin analysis. That doesn't look like a chia pet. Chia pet, chromatin interaction, chia pet, what complies chia experiment, formaldehyde, chromatin interaction. These are all things. These are not things that I want to do with a chia pet. I want to put some things like this. I want to put chia and grow things. Well, here's what I can do. Another thing that you can do is I'm looking at all these sites. These sites have all sorts of things that I don't want. So I can go up here and I look at the site and I see, oh, this all has the word chromatin, 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 chromatin. It doesn't really have anything that I want. Chromatin isn't something that I need to do with regard to chia pets. I'm going to grow. Hey, look what I've got now. Now I've got the chia pet. All right. Now here's an experiment that I could do with chia pets. So this simplifies the process much more. So you can also use the minus operator to help you find things. So that's where I'll stop for now, but there are many more tips, but that's what we will stop at for now.